Plaque buildup in the arteries is one of the final stages of atherosclerosis. This will increase the risk of heart attacks and strokes. It's often said that you can't reverse arterial plaque, but there are some ways that you can actually do it. And more importantly, there are ways to halt plaque progression, which is actually more important than eliminating plaque that's stable. So in this video, I'm going to tell you about 6 over-the-counter supplements, plus an additional bonus one that has been seen to achieve that. Number 1, Picnogenol. Picnogenol is a compound from maritime pine bark extract. It's very high in proanthocyanidins, which have antioxidant effects. In a 2015 study, they took 824 subjects, aged 45 to 60, with stenosing atherosclerotic plaque, with over 50 to 60% narrowing, and they divided them into 6 groups. Number 1, control group with no given supplements. Number 2, Picnogenol 50 mg a day. Number 3, Picnogenol 100 mg a day. Number 4, aspirin 100 mg a day, or ticlopidine 250 mg a day if intolerant to aspirin. Number 5, aspirin 100 mg a day, plus Picnogenol 100 mg a day. And number 6, Picnogenol 100 mg a day, plus an extract of Gotu Kola 100 mg a day. All groups were also prescribed to exercise, improve their diet, and make healthier lifestyle choices. They were followed for up to 42 months or 3.5 years. Carotid plaque ultrasonic scores were seen to progress significantly in groups 1, 2, and 4 by over 1%, but not in groups 3, 5, and 6. The commonality among the groups seeing decreased plaque scores was the 100 mg of Picnogenol, as aspirin without Picnogenol resulted in greater plaque progression than with it. In another 2012 randomized controlled trial, patients with stable coronary artery disease taking 200 mg of Picnogenol a day for 8 weeks saw improvements in their endothelial function, which means that their arteries would be less likely to progress further in plaque buildup. Number 2, Gotu Kola. The second supplement, you guessed it, is Gotu Kola, because it was already used in the first study. In another 2015 study, they divided 400 people with stenosing atherosclerotic plaque into 3 groups, similar to the Picnogenol study. Number 1, control group getting only healthy lifestyle tips. Number 2, Picnogenol 100 mg a day. And number 3, Picnogenol 100 mg a day, plus Gotu Kola 100 mg a day. Again, all the groups were prescribed to exercise and eat healthy. By the end of the study, both supplemental groups saw significantly reduced progression in arterial plaques and less progression to clinical stages. Number 3, Berberine. Berberine is a plant alkaloid that's been seen to reduce atherosclerotic plaque size and vulnerability in animal studies. A 2021 study on 21 patients with already existing atherosclerosis showed that berberine supplementation at a dose of 500 mg a day for 4 months resulted in a 3.2% average decrease in plaque scores. The caveat is that this study wasn't a randomized controlled trial, and the researchers used a method to assess atherosclerosis that's only 83% accurate. That's not the end of the world, but it's still something to keep in mind. However, berberine has been seen to have atheroprotective and anti-atherosclerotic properties. Berberine lowers serum lipids like triglycerides, cholesterol, and ApoB. It improves endothelial function, which is a thin lining in blood vessels. It reduces the formation and migration of macrophages and vascular smooth muscle cells that start the accumulation of plaque. And berberine also reduces platelets that can promote clotting, as well as modulate the gut microbiome in a way that reduces the formation of TMAO, which is the byproduct associated with atherosclerosis. You have a lot of clinical trials showing that berberine supplementation at doses of 900 to 1500 mg a day lowers total cholesterol, LDL cholesterol, and triglycerides compared to placebo. Having lower lipoproteins in the blood reduces the progression of atherosclerotic plaque accumulation, especially if the atherosclerosis progress has already begun. Number 4, Nattokinase. Nattokinase is an enzyme in a fermented soybean dish called natto. A 2017 randomized controlled trial on 82 patients saw that nattokinase at a dose of 6,000 fibrinolytic units per day for 26 weeks resulted in a 36.6% decrease in carotid plaque size and carotid artery intimal media thickness compared to baseline. There was another group that got 20 mg of simvastatin, which is a statin, and this resulted in an 11.5% reduction, which is 3 times lower than the nattokinase group. In another 2022 retrospective trial, nattokinase supplementation at a dose of over 10,800 fibrinolytic units per day was seen to result in 66.5 to 95.4% reduction in carotid plaque size. A dose of 3,600 FUs per day was ineffective. So it might be that you need at least a dose of 6,000 FUs per day to see effects from nattokinase. Small doses aren't effective enough. I want to take a quick break to tell you about the Bond Charge infrared sauna blankets, my go-to way of getting 20-minute sauna sessions on the go without needing to spend an hour to warm up a regular sauna. Taking the sauna is in my opinion one of the best things for your overall health and heart function. Studies show that taking a sauna regularly is associated with 63% lower risk of sudden cardiac death, 63% reduced heart disease mortality, 46% lower risk of hypertension, and 40% reduced all-cause mortality. This is mediated by an increase in body temperature and increased heart rate that mimic a cardiovascular workout, while at the same time improving arterial stiffness, endothelial function, blood flow, immune system function, blood pressure, and metabolic health. It doesn't matter if it's a traditional wooden sauna, an infrared sauna blanket, or anything else that elevates your body temperature above what's normal. Bond Charge infrared sauna blankets have the advantage of shining far infrared light that can penetrate deeper into your tissues than regular saunas can. It warms up in 2 minutes to the optimal temperature of 70 degrees Celsius, and it's low in EMF. There's also no plastic in the material, so you're not sweating in plastic. You can get a 15% discount by heading over to bondcharge.com/SiimLund and use the code SIIM for a 15% discount. Alright, back to the video. Number 5. Garlic. Garlic is a herbal food that's got anti-hypertensive, anti-platelet, anti-diabetic, anti-atherosclerotic, and anti-dyslipidemic effects as shown by mechanistic studies as well as human clinical trials. It's incredibly versatile and it appears to specifically improve metabolic health and lipid metabolism. But does it actually help with atherosclerotic plaque? Yes, there are a few randomized controlled trials where aged garlic extract supplementation lowered coronary artery progression even when controlling for other variables. In a 2020 clinical trial, aged garlic extract at a dose of 2400 mg a day for 1 year stopped coronary artery calcification progression, lowered inflammation, blood glucose, and blood pressure in patients at increased risk of cardiovascular events. But wait, there's more. A 2019 double-blinded placebo-controlled study on patients at high risk of cardiovascular disease showed that 2400 mg of aged garlic extract a day increased microcirculation and triggered wound healing in the blood vessels, which protected against atherosclerosis progression and resulted in increased blood flow. Another 2018 randomized trial demonstrated that 250 mg of aged garlic extract for 12 months slowed down atherosclerosis progression by reducing fat around the heart. One of the main bioactive compounds in garlic is allicin, which has specifically seen to reduce aortic lesions and atherosclerosis through reducing TMAO production. You can also take allicin as a supplement. So not only does garlic improve the risk factors of heart disease like blood pressure, dyslipidemia, and high blood sugar levels, but it can also positively affect plaque progression. Positively meaning that it reduces the plaque. Number 6 is an OG supplement in plaque prevention, and it's vitamin K2. Vitamin K2 has anti-inflammatory and anti-atherosclerotic properties. High dietary vitamin K2 intake is associated with reduced coronary artery calcification. When it comes to supplements, then a 2023 study saw that vitamin K2 supplementation at a dose of 720 micrograms a day combined with 25 micrograms of vitamin D3 resulted in a trend towards plaque regression. The effects were more significant in patients with a calcium score of over 400. This might mean that high-dose K2 supplements are more effective in people with much higher calcium scores. A 2023 meta-analysis of 14 randomized controlled trials concluded that vitamin K supplementation could slow down coronary artery calcification. The studies used about 100 to 2000 micrograms of vitamin K2 MK7. The last supplement is a bonus, and it's magnesium. Magnesium is the most important mineral in the body, and it especially counteracts calcium and inflammation. In a 2019 randomized controlled trial, giving 507 mg of magnesium oxide for 2 years resulted in a significant regression in coronary artery calcification progression compared to the control group. The effects were greater in those with a calcium score of over 400, but the caveat is that these patients had chronic kidney disease and already existing calcification. There's also ample evidence to show that a magnesium deficiency and not eating enough magnesium from our foods are associated with higher coronary artery calcification. In this 2019 study, they found an inverse relationship between magnesium status and carotid intima media thickness. The lower the magnesium levels, the higher the carotid plaque score. In this 2014 study, there was an inverse relationship between dietary magnesium intake and the odds of coronary artery calcification. The higher the self-reported magnesium intake, the lower the odds of calcification, with the lowest odds seen at an intake of 420 mg of magnesium per day. Another 2024 study saw that having higher dietary magnesium intake yielded a lower 10-year risk of first atherosclerotic cardiovascular disease events, such as a heart attack or stroke. The higher the intake of magnesium, the lower the risk. So it's definitely worthwhile to get your magnesium in check. Which of these supplements are worth to take? I think the ones you can't go wrong with are vitamin K2, magnesium, and garlic. Whether or not you should take Nattokinase or Berberine depends on your other risk factors and if you already have atherosclerotic plaque. Picnogenol and Gotu Kola have the least evidence, but they could still fit into someone's snack if you want to leave no stone unturned. Check out my video about the supplements that help with sleep next. Thanks for watching this video. Make sure to click a like and subscribe for future videos about living longer and staying healthier. My name is Siim. Stay optimized, stay empowered.